On today's podcast, we're going to be discussing the documentation and implementation of processes. So stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast. It's beginning to sound a little bit like a broken record, but the truth is truth. And that is, a lot of the topics that we pick for this podcast come out of real life. And this is going to be just another one of those. What we do with warehouse safety tips is try to bring it out on Wednesdays. It's never been called the Wednesday Warehouse Safety Tips or Warehouse Safety Tips Wednesday, but it really does have the idea of coming out on Wednesday. Now, just recently, yours truly found himself in the emergency room and then hospitalized. And that situation caused me to not have a podcast ready to go like I normally would. Well, what do you do when you are the head cook and bottle washer, or they're the person that is knowledgeable in a certain area? So think about this. Have you ever been to a place where there's that one person, generally an older person, that knows absolutely everything about the facility, every single tip, trick, and nugget? They've been there, done that, and they have the t-shirt. Well, when they're gone, or if they leave, or in worst case scenarios, they die, they take all that information with them. And you're lost, okay? You don't have that go-to person any longer. So what you can do is essentially a very easy thing, and that is to implement something that can actually be kind of complex, but we're just taking one very high-level portion of it, and it's something that's picked from ISO. If you don't know what ISO is the International Organization of Standardization, and one of the things that they do is documenting your standards. So what you do is you go through and document the processes that you do on a daily basis or on just any basis, and make sure that you take it down to a level that, although it may not be as easily said as done, but if someone were to read and go through the documentation of what you do, they should theoretically be able to go through and do your job. So it may not be perfect, but they'll definitely be not as in the dark as what they would have been if you were completely gone. Now, it's not just for the people that are possibly going to be filling in for you or replacing you. It's also for you. And what I mean by that is sometimes you're going to be doing something that you haven't done in a while. It may be something that you only do quarterly or once or twice a year, possibly not even every year. And when you try to go back and recall all the different steps that you need to complete that process, you could very easily not remember something and or just completely leave something out that you were supposed to do at the beginning, or maybe a very vital tip or trick that you had. So make sure that you go through and document everything that you do. And of course, it wouldn't be a warehouse safety tip without mentioning the 5S methodology, specifically sustain. What sustain in this particular instance is going to do for you is it's going to allow you to go through and make sure that you not only revisit that documentation, but that you're constantly trying to improve upon it. And now, a word from one of our sponsors.
You want an organized workspace. You want a safe and efficient way to lay out your shop or warehouse, but it takes forever to mask and paint the floor lines, only to watch them fade and smear and have to do it all over again. The solution? Mighty Line Tape. Mighty Line floor tape is simply the most durable floor tape available. It's 7 times thicker than most other floor tapes. It's beveled on the edges so it can handle an army of forklifts. And it comes up anytime with no scraping and no residue. Why mess with the mess and the fumes of floor paint when Mighty Line has the rolls, shapes, colors, and signs that fall right in line with 5S standards? There's a place for everything, and everything has its place. That's why we're here. There's only one American-made Mighty Line tape, the only durable stripe.
You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the vodcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the vodcast at warehousesafetytips.com. And if you want to catch our podcast and or request a sample pack of Mighty Line, visit mightylinetape.com/safety tips. Thank you for watching Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.